Daniel. Been married for 22 years. We have two beautiful children. Michael is a great kid. He loves sports. He plays lacrosse. He's bright, top of his class. Daniel was an old soul. He had a soft side of him that was second to none for a kid his age. He wanted to help people. Our neighbor down the road had cancer, and Daniel was by his side every day. Daniel went over and sat and talked to him and held his hand. And after he died, Daniel went over and helped his wife. It wasn't like he was doing it out of obligation either.
Hello, my name is Sue Johnson, and I'm here with my husband Jim to tell you a little bit about our son Kyle, who took his own life 3 years ago at the age of 19 while he was a sophomore in college. Kyle was a special soul with a special heart, known for his love of family and friends. Kyle had a passion for helping others and making people feel happy. He had a devotion to volunteering in the special needs community because making everyone feel included and special made Kyle feel the best. Although his life was far too...
We do this by assisting New England high schools and colleges.
Over and over again, because my eyes were so welled with tears that I couldn't even read the paper of words in front of me. Nothing could have prepared me to stand up in front of my family, our neighbors, and our friends, and use my words to beg them not to let the way my dad died, a result of debilitating depression and anxiety, diminish the legacy of caring and compassion.
Right now we're searching for therapy for our daughter. So the therapy Julia requires right now is dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT. We've been told by medical professionals everywhere that's what she needs. However, we cannot find it anywhere in our city. Anywhere that we've approached that offers it in Ottawa, either waiting lists have been shut down because they're so long. And in a couple of cases where we've tried to go the private route, we've been told that they will not accept Julia as a client because she has active suicidal thoughts, and there's nowhere in our city that we can find DBT for our daughter. However, every medical professional we've met with said that is the only form of treatment that is going to be able to help her at this point in time. Right now, in the last year, I'm sorry, my daughter has been in the hospital due to multiple suicide attempts. We have been in the hospital dozens upon dozens of times.
We didn't say go, I just smile. Ready? We're almost done.
He would say that he was not ashamed of who he was. It was just a part of who he was, just like anybody else.
At 10 years old, Pearson Phillips was already battling against mental illness. He began sharing his story with groups across Missouri.
He was just an old soul when it came to how he interacted with others a lot.
I hope that by sharing the story, I'm able to make the future better for those who come after me.
But as he shared his message of hope and understanding,
and we are all worth saving. We are all someone's loved one.
Pearson's own fight with depression and anxiety was leading him down a dark path.
But life isn't always easy.
Therapy was no longer helping. Neither was medication. Pearson even convincing his psychiatrist he was doing better, when in truth, his will to live was almost gone.
He was showing some self-harming behaviors, and I made sure that that was brought up. He completely talked his way out of that one, and I have no idea how. But you know, when you're supposed to trust the doctors, and when they tell you, I'm not concerned about this, you go, okay, I don't need to worry. Thank you. Because you want to hear that. You want to hear they're okay.
Then, on January 25th, 2019.
So the last thing I said to my son was that I love you no matter what. There's nothing you could ever do or say that would make me not love you. Ever. And he just kind of looked at me and shook his head, and I left him to do what he was doing, never ever never suspecting anything.
That night, 14-year-old Pearson died by suicide.
I don't know why. All that he left, he typed up a note to me saying, I love you. That was it.
Pearson's mom and dad knew they had to carry on Pearson's message to end the shame and stigma surrounding mental illness.
So this is the display.
They created the Pearson Project, which offers support to families who have lost someone to suicide. As
Our daughter ended her life at 24 due to depression. If someone is determined to end their life, how can one change their mind? Oh, well, first of all, I'm very sorry about that. That's a terrible thing. Look, I had this friend, her, sorry. There's been a lot of depression in our family, so it's a question that cuts close to the bone. Anyways, I had this friend, a friend of my parents, and her granddaughter committed suicide, you know. She was just beating herself up about that. What could have I done? What could have I done differently? This is the problem with suicide. It leaves everybody behind thinking, oh my God, what could have I done? I could have treated the person better. I could have listened. I could have been there. It's like, and she was just beating herself up about this, really feeling that she wasn't a useful person, that she failed as a grandmother. She's a really good person, you know. And so I went for a walk with her, and I said, and she's married, and she likes her husband, and he's a really good guy. And I said, look, you're blaming yourself for your granddaughter's suicide. It's like, are you blaming your husband? Are you sitting him down and telling him what a useless bastard he was as a grandfather because his granddaughter committed suicide and how he failed completely? She said, no, I'd never do that. So I said, well, don't do it to yourself. No. People, depression is a terrible thing. And many, many, many things cause it, and we don't understand. We understand some of them, but lots of them we don't understand at all. You know, sometimes people get depressed because they're really sick. We know that depression can be an inflammatory disease. It might be associated with autoimmune dysfunction. There's lots of reasons that people get depressed, and depressed people can go places that are so dark you just cannot imagine it. And it isn't necessarily the case that you can always rescue someone, you know. But drowning yourself in the aftermath of a suicide is not helpful. So there's a good room for self-forgiveness there, you know. I mean, maybe you did some things you shouldn't have done that were reprehensible and all of that, but you don't want to beat yourself up. Remember the presumption of innocence, right? Innocent until proven guilty. And you have to...
Hello, this is Taylor.